Okay, look at the warm-up on 111, whether you've tried it or not. Okay, and this warm-up is basically, there's one on the practice that says you're going to do like 3A plus B. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Tony, if I wanted to do 3 times TR, like let's say that's what this said, like make a new segment that is 3 times TR, what do you think that would look like? Correct. It's that simple. Basically, if I knew how long 1 TR was, I would just do that how many times? Well, 2 more, right? 3 times total. Okay. If I'm adding TR and PS, I'm basically just adding these 2 things together, right? Now, there's one on the practice that subtracts. This one's not subtraction, but if you're subtracting, is that going to make it longer or shorter? Shorter, like you're going to take that away, right? So what we're doing when they do these is you're doing addition subtraction with a compass. Now, the first step would still be the same. I want a DE, right? So I should make a point D, and I'm going to draw a ray. Now, the key here is draw it longer than you think you need to so you don't run out of room. So what I mean by that is I want to make sure it looks like it's longer than those 2 together so I have room to work with. So I'm going to draw this ray just like that. And I'm trying to find point E on here so that if I added that and that together, I'd now have DE. This right here is an example of what that we've already learned that we're going to quiz over today. Segment addition. We're adding 2 segments together. So what we would do first is we'd go up here. We're going to measure TR, see how long it is. So I take my compass. I go boom, T. There's R right there. So down here, that would be TR, wouldn't it? But I want TR plus PS. So now I'm going to go up and see what PS is equal to. It's that right there, isn't it? So I would just go from here or there, do you think? Okay. This one, because now what I'm doing is segment addition. This is TR, that's PS. So this point right here is my point E. And I created DE so that it was TR plus PS. That makes sense, everybody? Okay, now real quick, just so you, because on the practice, there's one we use subtract. If this would have been a subtraction sign right there, I still would have done this, wouldn't I? That's TR. You guys with me? So I started with TR, but if I want to subtract PS, instead of going this way, what would I have done? I've gone that way. Now that would be my segment, wouldn't it? Okay? They ever say 2 times something? You just do twice that. Now the angle one, that's what they're doing on that one. They're saying we want to create this angle, but not just once, but how many? That's what that means. We're creating angle F so that it's twice angle C. So I'm going to draw a ray down here. And this ray, this point here, I know is going to be F, so I'll go ahead and name it F. Because I'm going to have angle F here. Now my steps are going to be the same. Remember how I still wanted to make an arc? I'm going to do that step just like we did on copying the angle. So I'm going to make an arc here. And keep this one the same. Now I'm going to need to make it bigger than I think I need because I'm doing 2 of those angles, right? So I'm going like that. So here's what we've got right now. We have angle C. Remember how we had these 2 points? So from there to there is one of those, right? We've got this point. So basically, we're going to try to do this twice. I'm going to go up and measure angle C, how wide it is here. Find out that it is that wide, right? So if I came down here and did this, that would be one of them, wouldn't it? But since I want 2, Just move up, add another one on. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay, let me show you one more time. So I measured this part. That's 1. That's 2. So now if I draw my line through there, I'm sorry, not my line, actually my ray, that would be 2 of those. Okay, what do you guys think? That idea makes sense? If it did, then hopefully if you forget, you can go back, watch the video again or practice some, but make sure you try some of those on the practice from either 9 or 11, one of those. And then this other lesson, there's 2 new things we're going to add in. We're going to draw in bisectors. Okay, so if you go down to where the first thing says, we're going to do an angle bisector. Now this one you're going to like only because it is simpler, less steps. Tony, don't become a helicopter. Thank you. All right, so we're still going to do the same step we did on the copying the angle. I'm going to make an arc. Now let me say this in particular. If we're bisecting this, do you guys agree we want something right down the middle? Does that make sense? So when I do this, what this lets me do is know that this point and that point are the same distance from there, aren't they? So now, if I make an arc, now you don't have to make this one bigger. Now this is the important thing here. This arc and the next 2 don't have to be the same, but if I make it bigger, this one and this one have to be the same. Okay, here's why. I want this middle point right out here to be the same distance from those 2, don't I? Would that make sense? That way it would be in the middle. So that's why I can't move this when I do these. So if I make this arc here, everywhere along that arc is the same distance from there, isn't it? Everywhere along this arc is the same distance from there. So therefore, that point where they cross is the same distance from there and there, isn't it? Does that make sense? So real quick, so you see it again. I made this arc, okay? I made this a little bigger because if it doesn't reach to the middle, it won't work. But I had to keep this one and this one the same. And then where they cross will now be smack dab in the middle. So if I draw my ray through here, I've now created a bisector, which means this angle and this angle are the same, aren't they? Okay, you might think of a question. So you can see it one more time, especially if you watch the video. I made this arc, right? Which gave me these 2 points. Then from those 2 points, I made an arc, an arc. These 2 right here have to be the same. They do not have to be the same as this one, which makes that point be right in the middle, which makes that be a bisector. Okay? All right, let me demonstrate the other one. That way we have that on the video also. And then we can try some. All right, so for the bisector here, we're trying to cut that segment in half. Does that make sense, everybody? So what I need is I need 2 points that are right in the middle so I can draw a line through there. Okay, this one, you don't even have to move your compass only once, but it does need to be more than halfway. So if I make this right here more than halfway, and if you're thinking, I don't know if I'm close, make it further. Like you can't make it too far. Unless it goes off your paper, that's a little bit of an issue, but it's still right. You're just off your paper. But if I put this one here, all right, like see, I'm going to hit up there, so I'm going to come down a little. If I make this arc like that, you guys see what I did there? So basically, all of those points are the same distance from there, aren't they? So if I keep this exactly the same, and I do it over here, all of these points are going to be the same distance from this point, aren't they? which means the point where they cross right there, that's equal distance from there, isn't it? This point is equal distance from there. Therefore, it has to be in the middle, doesn't it? So that is bisecting that thing in two. So now if I draw this here, I am bisecting it. And there's one other little caveat to this. Not only does it bisect it when I do this, it is just like it looks like it forms a right angle, doesn't it? It is perpendicular. So it's actually a perpendicular bisector. So let me walk through that one more time so you guys can see it again. So I made, now when this one both times it has to be the same. It has to be the same from here and there. Make an arc, keep it the same. Make an arc. Where they cross right there, that's points in the middle. That's a bisector, and it's perpendicular bisector. Okay, anybody got a question they can ask?